Don't fade me, bro. This is the WeWin Sports Podcast.
Folks, the first thing I want to do is announce this. The World Championship of Survivor Pools, the World Championship of Survivor Contests with a $1 million first place prize. It's a $5,000 buy-in capped to 210 players at splashsports.com. Now, I bought in 3 times. That's $15,000. You know me, I love winning world championships. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. We are not professional sports bettors. In fact, far from it. Our guy Mike the Mouth Matusow over there on your screen is so bad at sports betting, he's lost $4 million. If you bet against him, you'd make a lot of money. I almost called this podcast the Fade the Mouth Podcast. But last year, Mikey came alive and went 14-4 on his published number 1 picks. David Woodley is almost a professional sports bettor. Woodley has great knowledge and sharp takes. And Brandon Cantu, who I'm going to just call Cantu and I'm going to call Woodley, seems to have the best contrarian takes ever. If you like underdogs in the NFL, which seems to be a really smart thing, Cantu is your man. If you like the favorites, I guess I'm your man, but you probably don't want to listen to me. In fact, I had 3 straight losing years publishing my weekly picks. You might want to fade my picks. But NFL totals is different. For 11 out of 11 years, I've won money on NFL totals with the help of Mike, Cantu, and Woodley. And so that's what we're covering today is NFL totals, our specialty. We win every single year. My friends follow my bets. My bookie follows my bets. It's kind of nice. Today we're covering the AFC. And let's start with Mike the Mouth Matusow. Mike, give me your 2 best picks in the AFC, over and unders.
My number 1 pick is the Miami Dolphins, over 9.5. They're in what I think is a down division. Buffalo has regressed a lot. They've lost 2 of their best receivers. They lost their whole back end of their defense. Allen is still probably the second best quarterback in the NFL, but quarterback can only take you so far, and I just think that they're going to regress from maybe down there around 10 wins, 9.5. The Jets also have a quarterback that's 41 years old, hasn't played last year. They won 4 games, and the coach I think sucks. So I think that they aren't gonna be as good as people think, and the Patriots are supposed to win 4.5 games. So Miami was, even though a lot of people say their schedule was a little bit easier last year, I still think they're a juggernaut, and if it wasn't for all the injuries, they wouldn't have blown the division late in the year last year. So I lean Miami over 9.5.
I like it.
As my best.
I like it, but I'd like to interject a little bit.
What's your second pick, Mike? What's your second pick?
I love Pittsburgh under 8.5. I think Russell Wilson sucks. I think they're in a brutal division. I think the Ravens are really, really good. Joe Burrow is healthy. He doesn't have the calf injury to start the year, even though their defense regressed a lot. But the defense also regressed a lot because the offense couldn't move the ball, and so they were on the field a lot. So if Cincinnati is able to rebound, get the offense moving, they bring everybody back, they're going to win 10, 11 games, and that leaves Cleveland. Cleveland, they got second in division. They won 11 games with Joe Flacco coming off the couch, and so winning 5 of them. So no, literally off the couch. And so if Watson brings them anything, I just don't see Pittsburgh doing anything. And I think Justin Fields is better than Wilson, and I don't know how long Wilson's going to be the quarterback for. So
okay, Mike, fabulous takes. Cantu, do you want to comment on Mike's takes? And you have 2 of them. You have Miami over, and you have Pittsburgh under 8.5. What's your thoughts?
First off, with Miami, they did have a real easy schedule last year, and I've never seen a team. It just felt like they were double-digit favorites playing the worst team in the league every single week. I don't know how they did it, at least until the very end. Maybe it got a little harder at the end, but they were 10 point, 11 point, 14, 15, 16 point favorites. It was out of this world, and Miami got a little lucky. They played some injured quarterbacks. It kept seeming like they were just facing a quarterback that was out every week, or the team was just ridden with injuries. But with that said, I actually like Miami over. The only thing that the only thing that really concerns me about Miami is that when they play these teams with real powerful defenses, someone like the Steelers or someone that can really hit them in the mouth, as an example, I think that's the teams that really mess up the Dolphins.
That's a good point. And then Cantu, let's get your comments on Pittsburgh, because I love this, because everybody in this chat knows that you are a Russell Wilson homer. You somehow think he's going into the Hall of Fame. He's the greatest ever, and Mike just told you Russell Wilson sucks.
He's already doesn't matter what he does from here on. He's in the Hall of Fame. So that is settled. There's no world at which he doesn't make it. He did too much in his first.
Well, he's won one Super Bowl. One Super Bowl. You think he's going to the Hall of Fame?
He's been to a lot more than that, though. So, I mean, even Peyton Manning only won 2. I mean, I don't think that's worth it.
Yeah, but you can't compare Peyton Manning to Russell Wilson.
They're saying Eli Manning shouldn't make the Hall of Fame. I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. So
that's another discussion. I don't have an opinion on that. But
yeah.
Russell Wilson is my guy. I think he's the most mismanaged, misused quarterback in the history. Well, maybe not the history of the NFL, but from how you would watch him run his offense with Pete Carroll, what he would do is he would take these snaps, and he's not a good pocket passer. Like, he doesn't just stand there and just zip it 1 second, 2 second. He needs to get back, run for his life, run in circles. It's very unorthodox. It's not common. I watched him do this for however many years that was in Seattle. He did the same thing. And Mike Tomlin is kind of a player's coach. I think he's going to let Russell Wilson do that again. It's going to go back to where he's running all the way to the sideline. He likes to sit in that pocket for 5 seconds. I don't know why he does, but he just does. Let him sit back there and run around.
Man, I'm just a little worried about that Ravens defense is going to chase him down. And I think that Cleveland defense is going to chase him down. And I don't think he's as fast as probably Mike would say.
I think he's got 44 yards of total offense in 2 preseason games. He hasn't looked good.
Well,
bad start. Okay, Woodley, what do you want to comment? So what I'm hearing from Cantu is he likes the Pittsburgh. Let me just say this. I'm going to weigh in on Pittsburgh myself. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season. It's incredible. I looked it up. It's incredible. So now I'm supposed to believe he's going to go 8-9. I don't know. That defense is just too good. So, Mike, I do not like your bet there. Miami, I think that's kind of a tough one to pick. Woodley, what do you think, Woodley?
I think Pittsburgh probably wins 9. No more, no less. I think Wilson is a lot better than Trubinsky and Pickett, who were awful last year. Pittsburgh somehow won 10. I think Wilson and Fields can win 9.
Mike, what I heard is this. Cantu does not like Pittsburgh under 8.5. Woodley does not like Pittsburgh under 8.5. I do not like. You're out there on your own, buddy. All right, Woodley.
My best friend. Well, one more thing. My best friend, who is a diehard Pittsburgh fan, the guy who bleeds Pittsburgh, the guy who leaves Vegas to go to Pittsburgh to go watch Steeler game, says Pittsburgh under is the lock of the year.
Okay, Mike, is he a professional sports bettor?
And one more thing I wanted to get back. I really studied that Steelers schedule. That second half of that schedule is absolutely brutal. When I say brutal, I mean there is no easy games. There is no easy wins. Their schedule's kind of it's all right the first 4 weeks. They need to get out 3-1, 4-0, because if they go 1-3, even 2-2, I'm worried that it could really get ugly. And if they have one win, it's going to be a bad year for them. I mean, they're going to have to fight they're going to have their defense really step up because they play some high-powered offenses.
Cantu, you can't choose both sides of the alley,
No,
man.
I'm saying that's what worries me.
You got to choose one side or another.
That's what worries me. Like, that's why it's not my bet.
Okay, well, all right, fine, whatever. But all right, Woodley, well, what do you think about Miami? Mike thinks they're going over 9.5. I'm very neutral on that one.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting division. I think there's two very overrated teams in the division, the Jets and the Bills. I think both of those teams aren't very good. I think Miami's pretty good. Obviously, New England's awful. New England will probably go 0-6 in the division, so that's like 2 free wins for each one. So if you think about it, Miami only needs to win.
That's a good point.
Win eight more. They got to win 8 more. I think they beat both Buffalo and the Jets at home as well. So 6. No, I think they get there. I think they probably win 10 or 11. I think they have. I don't know what the odds on are, but I actually would probably like Miami to win the division, just like I did last year over their win losses total. I think Miami wins that division. So yeah, I like.
Wow.
Wow, you're with Mikey. Okay, all right, Cantu, let's go. I want to hear your 2 picks.
Yep.
You ready?
My 2 picks. One, we're going to start out, and I like the Texans over 9.5 games. The reason I do, people think the division's going to be so tough. I'm not so sold on Anthony Richardson. I'm not so sold on the Colts. I think they overachieved a bit last year. Gardner Minshew kind of pulled them together really nicely, and I just think they were very fortunate on some wins. Also in that division, you got Jacksonville. I think I know you can't go 500, but they're about a 500 team. So 8-9, 9-8. I think they're going to do well in the division. I really believe in the offense. I'm a Tank Dell fan. I'm a C.J. Stroud fan. They've got some big offensive weapons. I just can't wait to see what they do. I think C.J. Stroud is going to live up to the hype that he had last year. I know a lot of times, we've been kind of talking about as a group that you get the sophomore hangover.
The sophomore thing,
Yeah.
Cantu. Now I'm gonna go and ask the other 2 guys about this pick of yours.
What's this other pick first?
Well, why don't we go with one at a time, Mike? Because I think we're losing the audience a little bit. I'm just kind of making it up as I go along here. But let's discuss this one first. I don't think Houston's going to win 10 games. No. And so I'm vehemently against that. I'm a Stroud fan. I think the coach has done one hell of a job. He came from the Niners. He has just a fantastic defensive philosophy. And the offense looked great last year. But I'm a little bit worried about the sophomore jinx thing. Mike?
I don't like Texas over 9.5. I think the Tank Dell's coming off a broken leg. We don't know how good he's going to be. They also got the receiver from Buffalo. Yeah, well, you break your leg.
Broken legs. It's not like you broke like his femur or something. I mean, broken legs happen all the time. I don't think that ever hampered anything.
He technically did break his femur. But he did. And so the thing is I don't know what was the receiver from Buffalo. I'm blanking all of a sudden. He was terrible. The last Stephon Diggs. He was really
Nico Collins.
Real.
I mean, that's a great.
Now Nico Collins is really good, but Diggs was really bad the last 6 games of the year. To the fact that people were like, "Why isn't Allen throwing to Diggs?" Well, he couldn't throw to him because he was never open. And so I like the running game. I like the defense. I just think Texas played a weak schedule last year, and all the good teams they played, they got beat up pretty good. And I do agree with you on one thing. And I'm not sold on Anthony Richardson, which is why I went under against the Colts last year. He was playing really good before he got injured, but Gardner Minshew just fucked me really good.
The Jaguars.
I think the Colts.
The Jaguars have just never quite pulled it together. Now, I do think I think they can. It's just something always happens with them whenever there's high expectations.
But Lawrence hurt his shoulder. They were 6-2 before he hurt his shoulder, and then after that they went like 2-8.
I do agree with you. When he got back from injury.
All right, hey Woodley, what's your thoughts on Texans over 9.5?
It's close. It's close. Someone has to win that division. It's a tough one. The Texans are definitely the odds-on favorite to do it. So in theory, they should win 10. But I don't know. I mean, I'm like right on it. Gun to my head, I would say over, but I wouldn't bet it. But
all right, I'm calling you neutral.
I don't like it that
Woodley.
much. I think Stroud. I think Stroud could be the real deal. Here's the thing: it all comes down to Stroud. He was all-time rookie season. There is a sophomore slump, yes, but it's also super rare, insanely rare, for a rookie quarterback to be that successful and lead them to the playoffs. And they got smoked in the playoffs or whatever. That doesn't matter. But he's something special. He has the arm. He has the wits. They have like an insane amount of weapons. I think Dell is fine. But you have, Nico, Dell, and Diggs may be the best receiving core in the AFC. I don't know. I kind of like the over, but not by much. I wouldn't pick it.
Okay, we're kind of split on that one, Cantu. Mike and I like the under. You and Woodley like the over, but Woodley barely likes the over. What's your second pick, Cantu?
My second pick is the Chargers, and I think that's a group decision. I want to ask because I think we pretty much all liked him. Over 8.5. You've got Jim Harbaugh is coming in. First off, thank God the old regime is out of San Diego. It was the worst coaching staff, and it wasn't even close last year. I mean, they caught poor Justin Herbert. I've never seen anybody go through like more struggles, worse coaching, worse play calling, worse down management. I mean, that coach on fourth down, he would take like of the three choices, whether it was punt, go for it, or field goal. He would somehow choose the third option. Like once a game, it felt like. I don't know how you could just butcher it that bad. He's not even hitting the first two options. So Jim Harbaugh, I think he's a much better professional coach than I do college coach. I think his game is more settled and more right for the pro game. I think.
You're really sticking with that take?
The guy just won the national title.
Look at the talent he had.
He just won the national title
championship
last year.
Stealing some signs, to get through.
He won three years in a row. He made the playoffs. Am I wrong?
You're right.
Talent. He also had a lot of letdown years over those.
He won 11 games with Stanford. Okay. They haven't had a winning year.
I said, I think he's a better.
I like the fact, Cantu, that you're going with this take, and Woodley and Mike and I are just.
No, I just think
you can't. You're telling us Jim
Harbaugh. If you were to look at his seasons,
is a better professional coach.
He's a better college coach than professional. Phil, would you say that?
I mean, I think he's a much better college coach.
Really?
But listen, I think he's great at both. And I'm aligned with you on this pick. I love it, Cantu. I'm with you. I think that Harbaugh, we're talking about the Chargers, over 8.5. I think for sure they're going to get there. And I know that Mike likes it too. So I'm going to go straight to Woodley.
Yeah, I don't, again, not to straddle a little bit, I wouldn't bet the under, but I would never bet the over on this. I think there's too much going against him. Listen, I think you can blame the coach all you want. He sucked, but how many wins and losses is a coach good for each year? I think the best of them are worth maybe a couple wins.
Yeah, 2.
3 or 4 wins.
He might have cost him 6. I mean, that last year, I've never seen such meltdowns. I've never seen. He's one.
That was
one of the worst coaches in history. Him and that what was the Denver coach the year before that had Russell Wilson before Sean Payton? Which one was that? Somehow he's got a.
Oh, the guy
the Jets.
The guy over at the Jets who had the worst offense with and Rodgers insisted on keeping him. That's my guy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, these guys are they're pros at the end of the day, right? And I don't think Herbert, for all the potential he has, he's been good. I mean, he's a Pro Bowl, but is Herbert? The thing about Herbert is he the 8th to 10th best quarterback in the league, or is he the 4th to 6th? And I think that's there's a huge gap.
And I'm going out on a limb.
I think he's a great coach.
Top 3. Sorry to cut you off, Woodley. Top 3. You heard it here first. He's going to be top 3 this year.
What are you fucking?
I mean, there's like 0.
3.
He's been in the league for several years now. There's 0 to endorse
top
that.
3.
And he said, He's like great. He's like great. Anyways, the thing with Herbert is great quarterback, right? But who knows how good. It's not all the coach's fault. Like Herbert's definitely come up short some of those things, and I think there's two things. Harbaugh's there for like the next decade, so he's not in a hurry to turn it around. People can point to the San Francisco turnaround, and that was great. But Alex Smith came back strong, healthy, had an MVP-like year. They also had the best defense in football. The Chargers don't have the best defense in football. The thing the Chargers have, they have Herbert, and they have zero, and I mean it's zero weapons.
They got Bosa.
I was in the locker room. I was in the locker room when Harbaugh came to San Francisco, and I talked to him and Alex Smith. And what Harbaugh told me is the old coach was running the same pattern over and over and over. And Alex Smith, suddenly no one thought he was that good. Harbaugh came in, refreshed the offense, boom. A couple of years later, they're in the Super Bowl. It's really incredible what Harbaugh can do. So, Woodley, if you don't start picking sides, I'm going to have to start calling you Waffling Woodley.
No, it's under. I mean, it's under because they have no one to throw to. There's no point for them to win this year. Like, there's no pressure anywhere. It's a rebuilding year. And their number one receiver is Josh Palmer, who's okay, but he's injury prone. And their number two receivers, they drafted, I think, in the second round. Like no one's ever heard of.
Okay, Woodley, I'm going to come back to you, Woodley, now, and just say this. So, Cantu's pick, was Chargers over 8.5. Mikey, Cantu, and I like it. You don't. Well, all right, what are your two picks, Woodley?
Let's
start with your best one.
Can I circle back around there, Phil?
I don't like it.
I'm going to tell you why this Chargers.
Mike, I'm going to start calling you Waffling Mikey.
I don't dislike it. I just don't. I mean, I'm not like oh my God, Chargers.
Mike, do you know if we don't go on record with our picks? I mean, there's guys. I watch some of these shows on television, and some of these guys are afraid to pick, and every single time they say, "Oh well, da 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 da." Oh, but if this goes wrong, da 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 da. They're trying to protect themselves from a clip in the future. No. This is a show by us. Man up. Make a pick and live with it.
I'm going to tell you guys something right now, and this is why the Chargers are a lock. I'm going to go over their last 4 weeks of the year. Home against Tampa, home against Denver, road Patriots, road Raiders. Now we're going to circle back into the front two games. They're going to start at home against the Raiders, on the road against Chargers. I mean, those six right there, and that's not even including like the really competitive games at Pittsburgh. That's going to be good. They're at Denver, at Arizona, home against New Orleans. I don't think Cleveland's that good. At Cleveland, listen to this: home against Tennessee, at Atlanta, they're not that good.
Pretty weak schedule.
That is a You've
convinced me, Cantu. You've convinced me.
Real weak, and there's the only tough games they have are at Kansas City. I mean, we're talking real tough. You could say they're home against Baltimore, home against Cincinnati. There's just not that many tough games. That's about it.
No, I think Arizona they'll lose. Arizona's one of my. Well, we'll do over that later.
Their defense sucks, and their offense wasn't amazing last year, and they lost every single weapon. Like they have zero.
And I agree with you on that.
In this, in 2024. You have to have weapons.
I just think Herbert's enough.
You can say that like Harbaugh's going to run.
Herbert and Harbaugh.
Kansas City's the only team that doesn't need a weapon.
Yeah, Kansas City. I mean, the Chargers gave up more points. Okay, here's
they gave up 55 to the Raiders.
How many teams in the AFC gave up more points than the Chargers last year?
Not many.
One.
I count two. Two.
Interesting.
That's bad.
All right, so your point's well taken, Woodley. The defense sucks. All right, now let's move on for the Chargers, and let's move on, Woodley, to your picks.
Yeah. Ravens over 10.5. It should be 11.5. 10.5 is like a I think it's 10. Yeah. It's 10.5 said lock, or as close to lock as it can be. Ravens won 13 last year, which means if they're 2 wins worse this year, which I don't think they are. I don't think you could look at the team and say they're 2 wins worse. Even if they're 2 wins worse this year, they win. Pretty much the same team. They lost they lost Brown, I believe, but no, they didn't lose Brown. Sorry, he was on the Cardinals. I'm thinking 4 years ago. They didn't lose really anybody. Zay Flowers should be better. Mark Andrews should be healthy, and then they got Derrick Henry, who in theory.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh my God, they got Derrick Henry.
Oh, I did. I forgot about that too.
I did.
He's not a pass catcher, but for a running team, I mean, they've been running the ball like amazing in the past few years with fucking Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins and God knows who else. So I think they're a lock. I think that's my favorite.
Lock, love it. All right, let's talk about that. Cantu?
I like the Ravens over 10.5. They do play in a tough division. I will acknowledge that. I think Cleveland's going to be on a big down year. I've kind of touched on that earlier. So I think the division and Pittsburgh, we don't know. I guess Pittsburgh's really a wild card team for me, at least.
Man, I will say the four of us watch more Pittsburgh games than anything else.
There's just so much unknown, and I can't wait for Pittsburgh. I'm the most excited to watch Pittsburgh this year because I think they're going to be a lot of drama.
Yeah.
The Steelers are going to have a lot of drama with their coach, their starting quarterback, all that. But with that said, the Ravens, they've got some easier games. The thing is now about the Ravens, they start out real tough the first 5 weeks. They're going at Kansas City on opening Thursday night. That's going to be a must watch game. I think the Ravens steal that game, but
it's really hard to win a Super Bowl and come back and win the first week.
And
I agree.
Then they play the Raiders, which is easy. But listen to this: for the first 5, they're on the road at KC, on the road at Dallas, on the road at Cincinnati, and at home against Buffalo. Those are 4 of their first 5 games. Now, they can actually start 2-3 in those first 5, and I think still do it. But it's just the first 5. Absolutely brutal, and they're going to be. I wouldn't even panic if they were 1-4, 2-3. I really wouldn't. I still think they come on strong.
Well, you got to panic if they're 1-4. We need 10.5. You know.
1-4, we ain't getting there.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, after that, it is much easier. We're going Washington at Tampa, at Cleveland, Denver, much easier. Like right as you cruise through there, then there's some tough ones.
At Cleveland is. At Cleveland, you act like a road division in the AFC North is a given. You know how hard it is to win on the road in the AFC North?
How about this? I'll just start 2-3 in those first 5, and I think they're going to be fine. And they should beat the Raiders.
I like it. I hope they start 2-3 because I'll tell you what, that's my pick. That's my pick right there. And so Woodley suggested it. Cantu likes it. I love it.
Let me go back.
Give me some of that. In fact, I'll tell you what I did do. I bet $15,000 after I found out this was a consensus pick. All 4 of us love this, and I bet $15,000 with my bookie already. Now, Mikey, I know you love this.
I got the Ravens going to the Super Bowl, so I'm all on with it. I think that
Harbaugh's an incredible coach. I had forgotten that they have. I can't believe they got King Henry. Oh my God, I forgot about that.
I think that the way they lost last year as prohibitive favorite, the guy fumbling at the 1-yard line, the horrible first quarter. After the first quarter, Kansas City got like 50 yards of offense. Okay, they completely shut him down. The defense is monstrous. I think that they're going to come out. They're going to get revenge this year. And I'm predicting them and the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl.
Okay, here we go, guys. So to the people at home watching this is a Phil Hellmuth pick. I'm going to tweet this out. I've been lucky. I've won every single year. This is my number 1 AFC pick. I'm going to have to study a little closer in the NFC. Woodley, thank you for that. That's a consensus pick. Woodley, what's your second pick?
I like the Jets under 10, and a lot of places have them 9.5. But if you go to Caesars, they got them at 10. And if you overs, even money, but unders only 20 cents juice, which I think is very fair. So I like the Jets under 10. I actually think there's a pretty decent chance it lands 10. My theory behind it is I don't think they win 11. I think they could win 10, but I think 10 is the ceiling. And I think there's like a pretty good chance that it completely implodes. There's a lot of hype around them. It's the Jets. Like, this doesn't really mean much, but they're like my Vikings. They're historically disasters. When things go wrong, they go wrong big time. I don't think they have the right coach. I think they got some talent. I think Wilson.
Woodley, would you say of the Jets fans that they're long suffering?
No, they're not that bad. They won a Super Bowl. I mean, there's a lot of teams that haven't won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Vikings, they haven't won a Super Bowl.
I know, yeah. I mean, listen, the Jets can complain all they want. they've had their moment. They had Namath.
So you don't think long suffering? They didn't win a Super Bowl since the 70s or something, I guess.
Could be worse. They could be the Vikings. No, they're long suffering. I mean, they are long suffering. I want to bring it up, but they weren't. No, they're cursed in a lot of ways. They're cursed.
Could be the Vikings.
No, they're cursed. Listen, here's the thing. It's all dependent on Rodgers, right? Like they have zero backup plan. He's 40 years old. There's not a lot of quarterbacks that have played well past 40. Everyone says Brady, but Brady's like one of a kind. You have to put that completely out of it, right?
Yeah, everybody else fell off a cliff. I agree.
Everyone falls off a cliff eventually, right? He's coming off a brutal injury for quarterbacks. He wasn't good 2 years ago. He won MVP 3-4 years ago. It doesn't matter. He's 40 now, and he's massively distracted. Which means if they get off to a 1-3 start or 2-4, there's a scenario where they just fucking implode. There's this scenario where he just retires or quits for the year. There's a lot has to go right for them to win 11. Because when you get under 10, you don't need them to lose 8. You only need them to lose 7, and you're good. Anything above that.
Why do you think he's distracted?
I don't see it. I think it's a tough division.
Why do you think Aaron Rodgers is distracted?
Why do I think he's distracted? I mean, he's big fan of going on podcasts saying things that are controversial, whether people agree with him or not. Like he was debating running for vice president. That's distracting. He goes in a fucking darkness retreat thing for a while. He's
done that every year of his career. So
no, he hasn't. He started doing it
which
2 years
retreats are you
ago.
talking
He hasn't
about?
done every year. The one where he goes in the dark for a week straight.
Ayahuasca
retreat. There we go.
Yeah.
that's what I want to do, an ayahuasca retreat.
But you're not playing quarterback.
Well, him and Mike.
Mike, you're already crazy, Mike. You don't need an ayahuasca retreat.
Him and Mike can hang out and talk about those losing Jets over 10 bets they had together.
I actually think an ayahuasca retreat's probably healthy for most people. Mike, so what do you think of that? What do you make of this Jets under 10?
Of course I love it because I fucking have Miami over, and part of my Miami over pick is the fact that the Jets aren't going to be that good. Buffalo's not going to be that, is going to regress. Buffalo somehow got to their win total last year. They had to win out the last 5-6 games to get to their win total. They were 6-6. They finished 11 or 12. They won out. They finished 12-6, right?
Yeah, they won their last 6 games or 7.
I think
they're over. They did. They won out, and so their over under was 11.5. So they got to their win total somehow. I can't see this. I don't see how Buffalo gets over 10 wins, even though they're.
No, sorry, they went. Mike,
Yeah.
they went 11-6 last year, but I think their win total was.
Oh, that's right. They had the one. Didn't they have one canceled or something?
Oh yeah.
No,
that was 2 years ago.
It was the year
Yeah.
before.
That was 2 years ago. That cost us a lot of money.
17 games. That's right, 11-6.
Yeah.
They got to their. I think their over under was 11, so I think they pushed.
So Mike, you like the Jets under, and then Cantu,
I do.
What do you think?
I like Jets over, and I'm gonna hit you guys back. I like
Really?
the Jets over. I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan. I am very concerned with his health. I can't stress that enough. If he misses 4 games, they got no shot at hitting that. So he needs to be healthy, and he's 41.
And yet you're still calling.
I do like the over. Here's what.
You're still calling the over.
I like the over. Here's why.
Contrarian Cantu, tell us.
Cantu comes in. Week 1, they start Monday night at San Francisco. Very tough. We all know that's a tough game. Listen to weeks 2, 3, 4, 5. At Tennessee, home against New England, home Denver, home against Minnesota. I like them at 4-1 right there. Cooking right in.
That's 4-1 right there.
Yeah.
And then they get into home against Buffalo. That's a winnable game. That home against Buffalo. They need to split. They need to split that.
I think they're 5-1.
They're not at home against Minnesota. They're on the road against Minnesota. So that's not
The Jets.
you can sit there and call me a
No,
homer
the
all you
Jets are
want.
at
But
home against Minnesota.
it's at Minnesota.
Minnesota's projected to win
Oh,
6.5
by the way,
games.
Woodley, we're wrong. Let me. That is a international.
It's in
Sorry,
London.
Yeah.
It's in Europe.
I didn't
somewhere.
realize that was an asterisk. It looks like whatever side.
I'm with Cantu. I see 5-1. Mikey sees 5-1.
And then we're gonna skip down at
don't
Pittsburgh
think-
Sunday night football. That's gonna be a dogfight. I think we both know that game could go either
That's
way.
a loser.
At New England, that's a win. Home against Houston, That's a either way at Arizona.
Timeout. You say they're going to be 5-1 in their first six games. Okay, so they're going.
Let me just finish here. You come back to what you didn't like.
Yeah.
Also, we've got. So where was I? I was at Houston, Arizona. Then they're home against Indy. That's another that it could go either way. It's Sunday Night Football at home, but I like the Jets. Then they're home against Seattle. That's another winnable game. At Miami's going to be tough. At Miami's tough. At Jacksonville's a go either way. Home against the Rams, that's a go either way. At Buffalo, that's a loss. Home against Miami, and I think you need to split against Miami. So there's a lot of winnable games on that schedule right there as we go down.
The schedule sounds kind of easy. I'm gonna say that I think I'm neutral on the Jets. I have no idea. I do think that if I had to bet anything, I would go with against Cantu and and I'd go with Mike and Woodley and go on the under. But yeah, you could easily see exactly 10-7, a break-even spot. Woodley, you want to comment more on the Jets?
Yeah, I mean, Cantu's a big fan of like going over like the first 5 games of a season before anything has even happened and counting like wins here and there. You know, like the Niners. I mean, they're not going to.
I agree. No, that's a loss. We both agree that's a loss.
Like, but, and then this idea that again on the road, any game on the road in the NFL is like tough, right? On the road against the Titans in Tennessee, that Will Levis kid.
Yeah, he's really good.
Oh,
right?
Come on.
I'll give you the Patriots and Broncos.
No.
I'll give you the
Tennessee's good.
What?
I mean, come on.
They're not bad.
No, I said Will Levis.
Oh, maybe Will Levis could be, but the Titans are
Well, we
bad.
don't have to debate.
It's a road game.
We don't have to debate every game, guys. Let me move this forward.
It's a road game.
Let me move this forward.
This idea they're going to be 4-1, though. I mean, we're not talking about the Chiefs playing that schedule. It's the Jets. So.
I do agree with that, but man, I'll tell you, if the Jets steal this win at San Francisco in Week 1, I love the bet, and I know that's a big if.
Well, yeah,
that's
of course. Then that would flip me too.
I'll tell you one thing: if they steal the win in Week 1, Week 2 in Tennessee, we're all in on Tennessee. All in on Tennessee in Week 2. That'll be the letdown spot of the year.
Okay, Mike, we're getting off track here. I'm gonna tell you that my first pick is the consensus pick. We already announced it. We all love it. To the viewers at home, if we told them to make one bet, it's our consensus bet. It's Ravens over 10.5. My other one, I'm on the bandwagon with Cantu and Mikey when it comes to the Chargers. Chargers over 8.5. And so that's the second one that I like. And we've already talked about those two teams, so we're in pretty good position. Now, I want to say, guys, that we're all going to be entering this contest, okay, at Splash Sports. It's a $100 buy-in. You can buy up to 150 times. So that's $15,000. But between the four of us, we're going to probably put in about $30,000. We'll have 300 picks and a $100 buy-in. 1 million guaranteed, 100 to win 1 million. Now, the way I think it's going to go is maybe I'll put 15,000 of my own money in, and Woodley's going to control the picks. Now, I see Mikey controlling.
Woodley controlling 150 picks with a baby and a wife at home. Fuck, he's going to jump off the cliff after about 5 minutes.
Only after you text me 30 times.
Switching the picks.
He says he can handle it, Mike, but we already know this. Mike, one of the rules is going to be, because we're going to have a bunch of picks live, and it's going to be late, and Mike's going to be texting Woodley because he has a piece. It's going to be 4 a.m, and Mike's going to text, take this side, and he's going to 5 a.m, take the other side, take this game, take this. You drove your partner Ben crazy. We all love Ben Jerusalem. You drove him crazy, Mike, and so we have to give you your own 50 picks. Can you handle 50 picks, Mike?
I got my own 10 in fucking Circus, so I don't need any fucking thing from you motherfuckers. But yeah, I can.
Do you want to handle 50 picks for us or not? Yes or no? $100 buy-in.
No, I don't want to handle that many.
You don't want to do it? Okay.
10.
All right,
10.
Mike is out. That makes our lives easy.
I said I could handle 10. I can't handle 50.
But you already have 10 picks in what?
In Circa.
So you don't want to do the $100 million.
No, I don't want to be responsible putting.
He's
in
saying
50.
he doesn't want to insert 50.
That's all.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah.
So you're going to put up the money like me, Mike, but we're going to.
Yeah.
Woodley, I'm going to control 50 picks myself because I think I can handle it. Click, 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 click. We got to give Cantu 50 picks, a contrarian, the best contrarian of all time. You know, he just somehow like pulls it off over and over again. So Cantu will control 50. I'll control 50. Mike is allowed to text. We'll have to have rules. You're not allowed to text Woodley. Maybe you can text me because I can put my phone
No,
on
you can
mute.
text me. No,
I don't want any input. You guys
by
do
the
the
way-
input with that. I just want to win the Circa contest.
Mike, when we're in week 16, okay, and we have 5 picks alive, and it looks like we're going to win $200,000, you're going to tell me you're just going to sit there with your mouth shut? We all know this not to be true.
Mike,
I don't know because I'm gonna have 5 picks left of my 10 in Circa, so I'll be concentrating on
Phil,
that.
let's talk about Mike. Tell us about when he calls you. Like when you're playing poker. What are the calls usually about?
Well, okay, you're right, Cantu, to prompt that. All right, so Friday, okay, this is 2 or 3 days ago, I'm filming. In fact, 3 days ago, I'm filming in Vegas, high stakes poker. I lose $100,000 in an hour. Yeah, I had queens against aces. I had ace jack. It came jack 9-5. All the bullshit excuses a person would have to lose that kind of money, but still my fault. But anyway, so now I kind of storm off the set, and I'm so upset. I cancel the next day and I fly home, and there I am playing the app with Mike. Chinese poker on the app. He and I play a couple of hours a day, and there it is, Cantu, right around 10 p.m. at night. I heard you stormed off the set, Phil. I heard you played really bad, Phil. Is it true? And I'm like, oh, this was like 8 hours ago. I flew home and I got to hear Mike Matusow. Like, I mean, it's so brutal. And I know you know exactly what I'm talking about, Cantu, because when you and I misplay a hand on the other side of the planet, Mike finds a way to find out and ask us, did you play your best? No, Mike, we didn't, by the way.
No, I had a night just the other night where I played really good poker, won almost every pot I entered, but I had one pot that I misplayed. And let me tell you, Mike had so many words. Oh, you misplayed this hand. And I'm like, you're right, Mike, I didn't misplay that. It was the biggest hand of the night. I misplayed I still won nice. I misplayed it, and man, I had to hear about this 10 different times, how I misplayed this. I'm like, yes, I did, Mike. Not perfect. But he always seems to let us know what we do
Mike
wrong.
is so cold. Like, he doesn't know it, Cantu. He's like, he thinks he's doing us a favor. What he's doing is he's taking the biggest needle and sticking it in our sides, but he doesn't even know it. So it's even more tilting. When we fuck up and we got to hear Matisow's like the big brother or something. It's bad enough we feel like shit that we lost all this money. We got to hear about it from Mike. Jesus.
Well, as long as you guys admit that you played bad, then the old Phil would never admit that. Like the Phil of like 7 years ago, never. Like the Phil of the last 5 years, like whenever like he loses, he literally, I give him credit. He sits there and says, "Yeah, I play bad."
But Mike, why is it important we have to admit to you we played bad? Tell us.
Well, because I wasn't there when somebody says you did. I wanted you. Just wanted you to verify it. You know, what if you said to me, "Oh, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. I got fucked," and then I would have said, "Oh, okay." Well, then I would have said, how'd the hand play out? And then I would have decided to take a side of whether you played it bad or not. But instead, you said, "Yeah, I played it bad." So I didn't even ask about how the hand played out.
And I didn't storm off the set, by the way. I did throw a microphone pack that finally came out, but I did not storm off the set. I just pulled it off. The same guy beat me every hand, and I said, I quit, and I left. And Maury Escandani caught up with me, the super producer who we all love, and he said, "Phil, I don't blame you for quitting." So, and I got to hear about Mike. You stormed off the set. You blew your money.
No, but this last one, you only played 30 minutes and stormed off?
Well, I hope I made it an hour, but maybe I didn't. It was a rough 100,000, my brother. Hey, Woodley. I feel like I think we're gonna have to wrap this up. I know, Woodley, for you it's like midnight on the East Coast, and you have young children, and you have to get up at 5 a.m. For your benefit, Woodley, we're gonna wrap this up. You have a final word for us, Woodley?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. We recorded this earlier and it didn't really come to fruition on this one, but the other one we talked about earlier that we all kind of agreed on was I think the Browns are in big trouble. And the one I also was wavering back and forth on was like the Chiefs, which is like 11.5. I think the Chiefs win the Super Bowl again this year.
Me too.
But I think they proved.
I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt. Sorry.
Well, no, I think they proved that like the regular season doesn't matter for them. Like they'll win that division. That division's not very good. So
No.
I was kicking like 11.5 back and forth, but like
Me too.
all they care about is winning the division. If they get the home game if they get the
At Arrowhead.
the two, I'm trying to think of how the playoff format is because you only get the one. But anyways, if they win the division, they get like the 2 seed. They don't get the 1 seed. I think they're fine with it. So I don't think they really care if they win 12 games or 11 games. I also think that playing all these games back to back years is a fucking grind. So I think the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, but I actually don't like their over that much.
I was leaning on over on the 11.5 Chiefs, and I've been against the Chiefs the last 2 years because
You've been against the Chiefs for 3 years, Mike.
Well,
and you've lost a lot of money too.
I just think that their offense was horrible, and it was. But now they've got receivers. But the thing is like I was listening to Belichick on a podcast, and he says it's going to be really tough for the Chiefs to win. He's like, he goes, I know how hard it is to win 3 in a row. It's never been done. And everybody's going to be gunning for him. And he just thinks that it's going to be really tough. And you got to remember, the Chiefs had every break go their way in the playoffs last year.
Phil, Mike, I got to bring up one key point that you brought up to me on a phone call we just had. Is you told me the reason that you didn't like the Chiefs this year is because of the Brittany, Mahomes, and Taylor Swift feud. Could you speak to that a little bit?
Well, it's kind of funny. It's not a feud. They're best friends, right? Like best friends. And like 2 days ago, Brittany Mahomes came out as a Trump supporter, and fucking Taylor Swift fucking hates Trump's guts. And I'm just wondering how, because of this political climate we're in, how is that going to separate their friendship? And is that going to cause like Kelsey and
I mean, is this real?
Politics takes over people's lives.
So
Politics takes over people's lives.
So you
dude.
think you
It
think
does,
Brittany
and
Mahomes and Taylor Swift might break up over this? You're saying not be friends?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
that's gonna be odd.
Absolutely.
If I don't see them sitting next to each other in the booth, they're gonna like zoom in. If I don't see them in the same booth, Mike, I'm gonna give you the credit that there's a war, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
That's bad news, right? You don't want divisiveness between your two stars.
Exactly.
Although there was some divisiveness between Kobe and Shaq, and Jerry Buss himself told us this, Mike. And he said, he once told me, Phil, what do you expect? They're 28 and 24 years old. So, these guys are a little bit older, but still.
Mike, do you think either one of them cares? Any 4 of them care like who wins? Like they're so like successful. And successful.
You know how many rich people? You see how these rich people? I'm leaving the country if Trump wins. Yeah, they care. People like I don't take politics as serious anymore.
Stop.
Like where it's like no,
Clearly.
when it's not like blood or when I say not as serious, it's not like blood or guts for me. Where I'm going to be like, oh, woe is me if this person wins, right? Like in 2016, or you know what I'm saying? Where that's why I get along with so many of my liberal friends right now. Like my liberal friend Woodley, I get along fine with him. You know what I'm saying? And I had to say because I fuck with him a lot. But
Mike. I believe Mike was the one that bet that Trump wouldn't win. So
Yeah, I bet against Trump winning, but the truth of the matter is my. But the thing is I don't believe they'll ever let him see power. They'll kill him. I just saw a tweet. A couple minutes ago, and they said straight out. They go, this is the calm before the storm. There's something major going to happen in the next month, and I agree 100%. So.
All right, so you'd like the Chiefs to win.
He likes the Chiefs to win. If Brittany Mahomes and Taylor Swift are in the same suite,
that's not what I meant. I think the Chiefs won with smoke and mirrors the last 2 years, and their team is upgraded from the last 2 years. So that means they should win again. But
Dude,
it's very hard to win the 3 in a row.
Even in the Super Bowl, it was 4th and 2, right?
Dude,
and
4th and 2, the game's over if they stop them.
Yeah, game's over. It's already in overtime. It's 4th and 2, and somehow they send Mahomes on a on a run, like around the end, like on a scramble, and he picks it up easily somehow.
Yeah,
and
but
then boom.
fourth and two, the Chiefs have to be like 80% to convert that.
Yeah.
Against the Niners defense?
Yeah, but here's another thing about
In
that.
that spot, 80%. Like, it has to be 80% because it has to be because like they know. I mean, that Andy Reid. If they don't have Andy Reid, maybe it's less. But Andy Reid's like Andy Reid, top 5.
Is that Woodley math or is that actual NFL math?
He's fucking top. He's top 5 coaches of all time.
Mike,
that's what he said. Right?
4th and 2 with the season on the line. 4th and 2 with the season on the line with Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes. Like, what do you put the percentage at?
High.
I mean, they're gonna roll fucking Mahomes out, which they did, and he fucking ran for it easily.
Great play.
Yeah,
it didn't even look like they were rolling him out. It just looked
they
like
didn't.
It was
He just
scramble.
Yeah, he just went in a circle and went straight up the middle and got it easily. But the one thing about that Super Bowl, right, is and this is I really felt Shanahan was out coached. He's like, well, we wanted the ball first, which everybody was like in shock over. Now, I think they should have took the ball first because they just their defense was worn from the long drive that got them into overtime.
Yeah.
Okay, but what I do think they should have gone is they should have gone for fucking 2, and they should have gone for it and not kicked the field goal because there was no way. They're like, oh well, we stop them, then we get third. There was never going to be a third possession, okay? Because the Chiefs were never not going to go for it.
Yeah, but San Francisco kicked a field goal, right, Mike?
Yeah, and I thought it was a mistake. I think they should have gone for it.
All right, and another thing I wanted to add in, guys, because for the viewers at home, we do have a phone number we're going to put out. And we're going to take calls. What are we calling that, Phil? What is the segment
Cantu.
called?
We're going to call that the 3 questions line, and we are going to let the fans of the show send in voice recordings, and we're going to use them. So if Mike says, bet your frickin' house on this game, which he's going to do, and that poor guy at home listening somewhere in the Midwest, in Iowa, bets his house, and he's going to call all angry and says, Mike told me to bet my house on the game. Now I'm getting a divorce.
This ain't that movie 2 for the money, buddy. Sorry.
I'm sorry, but we're going to have to use that clip. So we're going to have 3 fan voices with 3 different things. Cantu, what's the number?
All right, phone number is 702-608-0383. One more time.
Repeat it.
702-608-0383. And I'm very excited about that segment. I think that might be the hottest segment we have.
And what if somebody you're going to be all excited? I think here's what Cantu's hoping for, Mike. He needs some girl, right, Cantu, to tell him how good looking. Oh, Cantu, you're so good looking and so smart.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for the callers.
I'd really like to.
All right. Guys, we'll see y'all next week.
Later.
See you guys.